All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you join me just a few moments after I kickstart this, just check the chat. I am going to answer questions throughout our discussion. Today, we're going to talk about how you're going to price and package your profit. We're going to talk about how to price and package your product for maximum profit. All right, so we're going to go through pricing, what strategies there are, how to best price it when you're going to craft shows, how to make sure that you're targeting the market that you need to target and making sure you're pricing things to the market that you're targeting at these craft shows, because not every craft show is made the same. So let me go ahead and post on our chat the information on making sure that you guys introduce yourself, and then answer or ask any questions as we go through different topics. Okay. All right, guys. So today we have a very, very, very important live chat that we're going to go through. Um, Pricing and how to ensure that you're packaging your products to make sure that you're getting the most from it. We talked a little bit about all of this yesterday during the TikTok live event. Um, we had a lot of questions, especially for people who are, now that it's getting into that craft season, that were very much interested in understanding how pricing and how to sell at a craft show when there may be other people that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, right? However, I've talked to you guys and taught you time and time again that you might have a similar path, business path, as someone else, just like there's millions of real estate agents and there's millions of people who work at fast food places, and there's millions of servers. There's lots of people that have the same career or job or business track, but they don't have to do the exact same thing. They don't always all do the exact same thing. And what we're going to talk about today is how not only are you going to price and package your product so that you get your max profit, but you're also going to learn how to make yourself stand out from that crowd of crafters that are doing a similar type of business. All right. So, a lot of people think that they have a sales problem, right? And we've talked about this. We've kind of gone ad nauseum at this point that this business, it feels like it's saturated because we're all targeting the same people, right? We all started at the same spot. We all saw beads. We saw wholesalers offering super cute designs, right? For me, I saw the Hello Kitties, and I saw all of these really cute style of beads with the bling and the shine and all the cutesy stuff. And I was like, "Oh my god, I could do that. I can make a business out of that." I've done other businesses that were much more complicated and been successful. So, how do I do this? I love crafting. I love being able to do stuff that takes my time, because for me, I have that ADHD kind of brain. I have to like constantly be in motion, but there are times where there's certain things like crafting or like when I do my nails that it takes that part of my brain and calms it down, and I absolutely love it. So, I want you guys to understand that you don't have a sales problem, and this market is not saturated. The problem we have in this market is that everybody is targeting the exact same crowd, the everyone crowd. If I throw my pen out there, if I just show my Hello Kitty pen, somebody who loves Hello Kitty out there in the world is going to want it. And the problem with that is whenever we're putting our content out there and sharing our videos or posting pictures on Instagram, right? We're just posting things generally. We're not giving any actual direction. We're not putting it out there with intention and with direction of who we're trying to target. We're just saying, look at this, guys. It's so pretty. I hope one of you likes it, right? We're shooting a bunch of darts and hoping one sticks, right? And unfortunately, you're doing that. Jane down the street is doing that. Susan over, a couple states down is doing that. And so are thousands of other people. They're doing the exact same thing. And the problem is that when you're all targeting everyone, you're all going to get no one. And I'm tired of saying it, but it is so true because we all want to target the same crowd, but it's not it's not meeting the needs of that particular crowd. So I've seen some very successful TikTokers who have, pen orders and things that they're doing. And even if they didn't mean to target a market, they are actually targeting a market, right? So there's a TikToker that I love watching because she showed up on my page one day and she does, the pens and stuff, but all her pens have adorables on it, right? So her target market, even if she didn't know it or not, if she knew it or not, is the market that loves the durables, right? Or has some kind of very specific character on top, like Rainbow Bright or Strawberry Shortcake, right? Very iconic characters. And the cool thing about it is that she uses her personal account. So she's using the trending sound. So if there's an audio that goes hand in hand with that character, then she's got a built-in audio for her short style video. She doesn't make these super long videos. Her videos might last a little bit over a minute, but they are on point, same formula. There you go. You got the pen, you're helping her build it, and as she's building it, you're hearing the song. So she doesn't have to talk. It's faceless. You're seeing the product, but they all have something in common. They're all bling style pens. They all have a character topper that is iconic, that is widely known, and people go to her for these characters because she has them in droves, right? So it's not the fact that she's got the same bling designs that you do. It's not the fact that she buys the same wholesale beads that you do. The fact is that she honed in on the market that made her the most profit, which is the durable lover market. Disney lovers that love durables, right? That is the target market she chose. So she's very successful. Her videos get thousands upon thousands of views. She's got thousands of followers. So understand that she didn't get there because she started putting keychains on her page, that she started putting, you know, uh, cup wraps. She didn't sit there and do 20 different types of products. She focused on one product line. Her collectibles or her collection are durables for the most part, right? The Disney durables and the bling that goes along with styling her pens. So all her pens are all bling. She loves using bling beads. So understand that is a formula for success because she focused on a target market. Even if she inadvertently discovered it, right? Even if she didn't follow my formula, she knew that she had a market when that particular style video became popular. And she continued on that traction and continued targeting that market by using the audios, by using the visuals of those characters. So the people who love Disney characters or iconic characters like Strawberry Shortcake, like Rainbow Bright, they're the ones going after her product. So, unlike a lot of designers that I see, right? I've seen designers that'll have Hello Kitty, they'll have Rainbow Bright, they'll have Labubu, they'll have butterflies, adorable. They'll have like 25 to 30 different versions of characters. So it's all scattered. They're not using trending audios. And I've mentioned this before too. When you have a personal type TikTok account, you have the ability to use trending audios, you have the ability to use things that get you more views, being a part of creator rewards, having a showcase, right? So if there's, products that you want to start branching out and selling apart from what you're doing it's in line with what you're doing. I'm not advocating for you to go do that, but there are people that have showcase products because they want to be a part of that TikTok Shop affiliate or creator insights, all of these different programs that TikTok has. They want to be able to be a part of that and sell in that. So I say all this to tell you that there are ways to ensure that people see your product, that they actively want to buy your product, that they actively validate your designs in the comments by saying, "Hey, I want what you have to sell. I need what you have to sell. Please, do you have this character?" Right? They're actually asking you. Well, guess what? She doesn't have to do a lot of guesswork with her characters because she has one product line of characters. So she doesn't have to go and jump on every live that exists out there for every wholesaler to find a specific character. She introduces a character and people sell her out. Or she stays to the Durables collection line and she has an endless supply of characters. So keep that in mind when you have your business. If you are wanting to target a particular collection, let's say you absolutely love butterflies, then the butterfly collection is what you need to focus on. Maybe you create monthly butterflies. Maybe every month you have a different type of species of butterfly that you introduce to your designs, right? Maybe you're using different molds, resin molds that you can then create your own charms and your own colors of versions of those butterflies. So there are ways to create your own target market, to use and leverage the inventory you have. If you're someone who has a bunch of inventory, right? You focus on those collections, minimize to see which collections you have in common, and then release one collection at a time. So let's go through the core problem. We're going to spend a few minutes on this. A lot of people, when it comes to pricing, they want to price and base their pricing on what everyone else is doing. And if you recall, if we're all in the same pool of the everyone market, you're only going to price your product to what somebody else has available. So if somebody who's overseas, let's say in China, is selling their fully built out bling pens for $7 because they can afford to, since they manufacture everything there, and here you come with a $20 pen for that looks exactly the same, people are going to want to, they don't care about waiting the extra few days now. They'll wait if it means getting that pen cheaper and it arrives, perfectly fine. They also want to overwork for a lower profit. Okay? People want to overwork for a lower profit. What does that mean? It means you want to spend 20 hours working on a pen and then sell it for $20, and it took you like 3 hours to build. It should never take you that long, by the way. Whenever you create your designs and your styles, it should be as simplified as possible. You should actually be timing how long it's taking you. Something that you put together, like a bead pen or your bead designs, should not be taking you hours on end to create a pen. If it is, dump the design. It's not worth it at that point. A full pen design should not take you more than 10 minutes. That means if you're having to create in bulk your base collection, you can do that. That part is fine. You can take your, do your curing. That the curing time of your adhesives is not the time I'm counting. I'm talking about when you're sitting there and popping flowers onto your beads, or if you're adding creation tape and you're using our creation tape that already has the sugar rhinestones. That should take you about a minute, if that, to put that together. And then putting a little bit of glue at each end of the rod after you've put your design together shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes, if that, to put a pen together. Keychains are a little bit longer because you're sitting there and stringing up beads. But if you want to simplify your collection and you want to focus on one product line, then stick to pens or stick to keychains. And if you're doing keychains, stick to keychains that are easy to build, that you've perfected the process of clamping down your ends, of putting in your beads, of adding in your design, and it shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes. Okay? Attracting the wrong buyer. We just talked about that. You guys are shooting for the stars and hoping one sticks. One may stick, but there's no guarantee. It's almost going to be like trying to catch a shooting star. You can't guarantee that you're going to be able to focus and get the attention of the person that wants what you have if you're trying to throw it all out there and hope and pray that somebody's going to pay attention and want to buy it. However, if you focus your design and your messaging to that person that wants to buy that pen or that design of keychain or that cup wrap if you're doing other crafts, right? That hat, that t-shirt. I know my market is bead crafters, but this goes in line with every other craft that exists, right? If your pricing is built on fear, you will not be able to scale your business. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about profit and shift around how you're going to think about pricing. Okay. So I know we talked a little bit yesterday about the breakdown of pricing, and I went through it with you. It's not just the cost of the goods that you create, right? The beads and the supplies. It's also your time, the skill that you put together, like the skill that you bring to the table, the packaging, right? The cost of your boxes, your bubble wrap, your stickers, all of that. And then building in that profit margin that we talked about during TikTok Live, where I said I normally price my items to have at least a 65% profit margin. I want 30% to go to the income side, right? Because I eventually would like my business to pay me, but I also want 35% to stay in the business. The business has to pay taxes. The business also has to pay itself to buy more products and expand the product line. I can't do that if all I'm doing is replacing the same thing that I have and only selling at cost. All right. So if our materials, here's a good rule of thumb. If our materials cost $3 and we want to have a little cushion for our time, our packaging, all the supplies for our packaging, all of that, you want to sell it at a minimum of $10 to $15. Now, that could be and I'm going to, let me see here. Here's a good example of something I would probably sell for $10 to $15, right? It's a standard pen. I have some UV DTF stickers that I put on here. I added a little rhinestone trim. It's got the little spacers on there, the heart, one focal charm. That's an acrylic Hello Kitty bead. And I kept the cap from the pen. I didn't sit there and make it a bead pen topper and did all that, right? This is a standard pen. I'd sell this for $15 during the holidays, right? Have a couple extra replacement inks. Make sure all my packaging, when I sold it at a craft show or if I sold it online, had my information for my site so people knew where to get their supplies to refill their pen inks, all of that, right? However, something like this, I'd sell for 25 to 30, right? Especially if it was adorable. This is not adorable. This is just a generic design. But what my costs were in comparison to what I'm selling, especially for the time it takes, the character recognition, right? Because this character, if it was adorables, might be worth a lot of money, right? I've seen adorables that are $5 alone because of the popularity and the rarity of the character. So you're going to have, right? And even my bead here with the Tiffany, if you guys can see that, it has like a Tiffany style. Let me see. There you go. I kind of cleaned that a little bit there. So it's got the Tiffany logo on it, and branding on it, right? So it's got that luxury style design to it. So you can have an array of pen styles. However, the more niche you are, the easier it is to sell your product because people know what they're going to expect from you. They know what you're selling, and and if they are your target market, right? Because you're aiming it to your target market, then they know what to expect as far as pricing. So, um, that to me is a good rule of thumb. If your materials were $3, price at 10 to 15, that should accommodate your packaging, that should accommodate your time, especially if you're pricing your time at $15 to $20 an hour, things like that. Like I mentioned that to you guys too. Break down your time depending on how much per hour you're looking to be making as a crafter, right? So if you're thinking, okay, if I was a crafter out in the real world, I'd probably be making $20 to $25 an hour, right? That sounds pretty good to some people, but it's a lot more than you'd get working at a retail store or anything like that, right? Where you're on your feet for 8 hours a day. When you do your pricing for your craft, you divide that hourly rate by the minutes. Because if it takes you 15 minutes to complete a project, then you'll multiply that amount that you split up. So 25 divided by 60, right? That gives you a per minute amount. Or if you know it's going to take you a max of 15 minutes, no matter what design it is, then all you have to do is split that $25 into 4 and get your $7.50 cost for your time, right? So we have $7 for my time, $3 for my pen. That's already $10.50, right? And that's me pricing myself at 25 an hour, which most retail places won't charge that. But that's already at $10.50. So I know I cannot sell it at that $10 minimum. Add in any packaging costs, things like that. Well, technically your packaging should be in there. With your packaging, you shouldn't have be paying tons of money for your packaging. That's for starters. You should always make sure that you are buying with your packaging, that you're buying a good quantity up front. Don't buy like 4 or 5 boxes at a time. Buy 30 to 40 to 50 boxes so you get the lowest price per box. So when you're sending out your orders, you can build it into that material cost. But even if my pen design, my box, my bubble wrap, all of that was $3, at a minimum, I couldn't sell my pen for $10 because my time was worth $25 an hour to me. It's $7.50 to make that pen because I'm taking 15 minutes of time to make it. And I want to add in some profit to the business. So I would be looking at selling that pen for $15. It cushions it a little more, gives you another $4.50 to put back into the business, to invest and have additional income for the business to expand my collection. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I'm actually going to work on a calculator that'll make this a lot easier. But if you're someone who wants to be able to just kind of start jotting down, okay, if my material costs, so like the cost for each bead, for each spacer, for the pen, the base pen, the character, and my packaging is $3 at a minimum, I want to 3.5 to 5x my profit, or my sale. So at 3.5 to 5 times the cost of my materials, that's the $3, I am selling it at a minimum of $10.50 to $15 an hour. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about packaging and the perceived value of it. So up until this point, we've talked about pricing and making sure you stay on a target market and a niche so that you're not blending in with everybody else, and you don't have to worry about what everybody else is charging because you're charging your pricing based on your base material cost times 3.5 to 5 times what it costs you to make this thing, including your time. We also talked about the fact that your collection can start with what you have in inventory. It can start with that process of, okay, I need Um, I need to focus on the collections I already own. I'm not going to sit there and buy a whole other, I'm not going to buy durables because that's what's selling. No. If I have, which I do, I have Hello Kitty and Sanrio characters, that's who I'm going to start with. And I can release a character collection every time I launch my product and have it as a limited quantity. Okay? So, for starters, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're going to start with what do I have in my collection? And if you're just starting out in this business, then you should be focusing on your target market. You're not even worried about inventory at this point or wholesalers or buying anything. Your only thing is to make sure you have a paper and a pen or you're typing this away and you're trying to do research on who you want to sell to, right? Who is your ideal target market? And if you're on Substack when you're watching this or on YouTube or any of these other social media platforms and you're watching this, then you need to go to my Substack, find the article where I talked about your personality and your target market, take that free personality test and see who your target market is that works best with your personality so that you can then hone in on who you're going to sell to and then focus on the designs that work best with that target market. All right. So now that we've figured out who our target market is, now that we understand pricing, and this is very high level, guys. I right now we're just skimming the surface. I want you to get that base understanding, that foundational understanding. But now that we've gone through the process, we figured out our target market. We figured out how we're going to price our pens. If it's a $5 pen, I want a 3.5 to 5 times that, right? It's got to at least be anywhere between $18 to $25 for that pen, right? Like I showed you guys the difference of pens. Now we're talking about packaging. It can't just be the design of the product, right? We have to provide an experience and present this product in such a way that our clients or our customers are going to be like, oh my God, I have to have that. I need that product. I love how they packaged it. I love the experience that they're giving, that they're giving me for that product. A lot of people mess up in this particular part. And it's why on my lives, I have no problem spending 2 hours quite literally talking to you guys about packaging. Because to me, as a consumer, I would buy and spend more money on something that gives me an amazing packaging experience than something that comes in looking like it just got tossed in a bag and was sent to me. It's going to feel cheap, right? Think about the last time you bought something and you spent quite a bit of money, right? Think about those larger brands like Hermes, right? That even having that box, the original box that purse comes in, matters and actually affects the price of an Hermes bag. Okay. So people don't want to just buy a bead pen. They don't want to buy just a keychain, right? They want the experience that you're selling. So if you're, let's say your target market is teachers and giving them an experience at the desk, right? Because teachers still use pens, right? We talked a little bit about the medical industry yesterday and how nurses and doctors are all computers, are all digital. That's why we were talking about using stylus designs because they still offer a pen in case there's things that they need to do and they can keep it on their own person and they don't have to worry about finding a random pen. They don't, they're very much germaphobes at at the medical level, but they can use this to touch screens and they don't have to touch anything with their hands, right? If they're using touchscreen devices. So let's say your target market is the education target market, teachers. You're going to look at, hey, Darla, how are you, sweetie? I'm talking right now about the pricing and packaging your item to sell at a max profit. So right now we are talking about your product versus your offer. So you know, your focus and your target market at this point would be a teacher desk set. Yes, I do. Thank you. I am so happy my voice is coming back. It is horrible to not be able to talk, especially being in my line of work, right? To be a trainer and I can't talk. I actually had that as an experience at one point. But I'm gonna get back to the topic so then we can move into kind of a recap on what you may have missed. All right. So if your target market, let's say you create a bead design and maybe it's a desk set for teachers, you're not just going to be like, hey, here's your stationery. Hey guys, who wants stationery, right? You're going to offer this as a teacher desk set. No teacher's desk is complete without this pen, this notebook that matches that pen, this cup with this awesome cup wrap that goes with this theme, right? Think about the teacher desk sets that you can offer for the different seasons, for the different months. A lot of schools do spirit weeks, right? So there's a lot that you can do that can help target that teacher demographic. Parents who want to give gifts to teachers during the holidays, end of school, start of school, right? When you focus your designs to your target market, it's easier to talk about than just going, hey guys, I've got all these pens. Who wants one? I've got this one. I've got that one. I've seen those on lives. It drives me absolutely bonkers to hear, like to literally go, yep, I have this design, guys. And I have that design. Tell me in what planet does Cinderella have anything to do with Hello Kitty? Right? If I see this and if all you're selling me is Hello Kitty collections, that's a target market, right? I know me as a Hello Kitty fan, I'm gonna want one of those. I'm gonna probably stick with the pink sides because I love the pink Hello Kitty style. But there may be one that loves the classical one and sees her as a foodie character and loves that, right? It's no different when you're targeting specific markets like teachers, right? Or like we talked about yesterday during the live, military. Denise, which went by the name Garza, she's got a craft show that's coming up that was specific to military and nurses and doctors. So it was, it may seem like it's so spread out, but it's not, because a lot of these doctors and a lot of these nurses are also military members, right? And we talked about focusing a design for that target market. They no longer sit there and write a bunch of stuff on paper. They touch screens. They are on computers, but they are also the biggest germaphobes. So you want to sell them styluses. Why? Because now if they need a pen, they have their own. They don't have to grab one off of a random desk that God knows who sneezed on it. God knows who has the flu and touched it, right? Or has some contagious disease that is on that pen and living on it, right? This pen is their own. They keep it in their pocket. They don't let anybody touch it. So it's not hard to sell to a target market. You just have to understand who it is you're selling to and then make that design that works for them. And if you're working off of inventory that you already have, focus on the collection, research that target market that loves that collection and sell it off there. Once you've sold off that old inventory, if you wanted to switch up your target market, by all means, do it. Oh my gosh, Darla. Yes. See, when you think about it, even, I was not medical. So I started in volunteering. So I've seen the shifts and the transitions, but I've gone to hospitals. I've taken my kids to the doctor. I've taken them to urgent care, taken them to the ER. And everybody comes in with a wheelie cart on a computer on a wheelie cart, or it's sitting up on a wall in a desk thing that you pop down and there's the keyboard, right? Even going to my like the standard doctor appointments. Like yesterday I took my daughter to the doctor for her wellness check. And guess what? The doctor literally comes in with a cart. Boy, did she bang that thing up against the door, the door frame every time she got. And I was so glad those carts are sturdy. But oh my gosh, that's all she did. right? That's her cart. That's her practice. But guess what? There's still things she has to sign because there's documents that may not necessarily be electronically signed. She may need to physically sign a note. And now she has to grab some random pen that a sick patient might come in with? No. So, targeting your market is part of that equation. Understanding what they want is the other. Yeah. Yeah. Stylists are perfect for that market, the germaphobe market. For me, and here's another, you want to know, you want your exactly. Exactly. You want to know another market that this is perfect for? Because I'm proof of that. I love to have long nails. Right now I don't. I took them off I love to give my nails breaks in between my press-ons, but I gave my nails a break and now I can do even more crafting because I don't have my nails. But guess what? When I do have my nails, you know how hard it is for me to sit there on my phone and be typing when I have these like 2 to 3 inch long nails, and I love them, but sometimes I can't. Or if I'm trying to trim my videos, my nail gets in the way. So guess what I use? My stylus. I use my stylus. So when you're designing for people who have nails, guess what? That's another target market. And yeah, exactly. You do have a lot of friends and there's a lot of people, tons. There's an entire like revolution that happened on TikTok because of press on nails. You literally started seeing press on nails on every other video. If you watched one, it was all of a sudden in your feed, right? So all this to say, you can have a base product that can fit multiple target markets. It's how you market it to that target market and the need that you're filling that makes the difference in the world. So I can sit here and go, hey, I've got all these pens, guys, right? And here's a stylus, right? And I may sell it. But if I said, hey, guys, I have this Hello Kitty collection of styluses for my nurse friends, right? And then I have one that had like a little cute nurse outfit or one that, you know what I mean? My nurse collection, especially those who have a lot of silicone beads, focal beads that are specific to nurse industries, and they still only sell pens and not styluses, it blows my mind because that's a missed opportunity right there, right? So focusing your product on a set for that market and making sure all your marketing videos and all your content, even if you do faceless videos, even if you do voiceless videos and you're using the AI voices that are built into the platforms, making sure you're using the language that will attract your buyer is how it gets in front of your buyer. All right, so we're going to go into target marketing packaging, but before I do that, Darla, I want to catch you up, just a quick recap on where we are, right? So we kicked off with everybody thinks they have a sales problem, and there's no sales problem. The problem is pricing and packaging and the target market that they're going after. Okay. So we talked about reframing our minds about pricing because we're seeing people sell it for $7, $10, $15. What do I price it at? At the end of the day, it's your product. You have the ability to price it what you want, especially when you're focusing on a target market because you are that creator for that target market. You are differentiating yourself and your collection from that target market. But there is a rule of thumb that I shared that can help you price your product. So we have a 3.5 to 5x pricing strategy. So if your pen, right, if you're pricing everything out, if you bought the bling base pen for 80 cents and each individual bead was like 7 cents, 10 cents, whatever the math comes out to be for your pen. Factor in the cost of your box if you're going to mail stuff out with your box. How much does it cost for your bubble mailer, the tissue paper, any inserts that you pop in, any freebies that you pop in? You have to have all of this priced out. If at the end of that, your pen, right, let's say it's this one right here, your pen and all the supplies to send this out to a customer costs you $5. Your pricing, as a good rule of thumb, to include your cost for your time, because we don't want to forget the cost of our time, should be anywhere between 3.5 to 5 times the cost, the base cost. That'll help ensure that you're building in profit so you can pay yourself out, right? Because this is a business. This is not a hobby. If this is a hobby, you might as well give it away for free. But we're pricing it for profit and to put money back into the business and to pay the taxes for the business at the end of the year if we make enough to report it, right? We're not only covering our costs, but we're profiting from this. So then we dived in and talked a little bit about people not just buying the product, they want that experience. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday during the live, which is your packaging, that experience of how you present your product, right? It's not just a bead pen. If you're focusing on teachers or nurses or doctors, it's that experience, like the teacher desk set, right? Now we're going into packaging and bundles. So that's what we're going to cover next, is going into, now that I'm focusing on the teacher market, and I'm not just selling a bead pen. There's an experience there, right? It's the teacher set. Maybe it's the fall set, right? You could do seasons because teachers do 4 quarters in a year, right? They have their semesters. So I can do the fall semester bundle, the winter bundle for teachers, right? The classroom essentials bundle for that start of the year. It can be a keychain or a lanyard that holds their IDs and their keys, right? Because a lot of them, my husband is a teacher and he has a lanyard. He also has a pen that he carries because he has to have something to write and grade with, right? He also may need to have his keychain for his own personal keys, not just the school keys. I tend to give away my husband saying 4 to 5x. But remember, because you're pricing it, you're thinking, oh my God, people are not going to pay that. Because you're looking at it from your perspective of, I bought it at this cost. How can I justify charging that? But you have to remember, they don't know what you paid for it, because you're not selling to another bead crafter. You're selling to a consumer. When I go to Target and I go buy, or even I'm going to give you a perfect example because I spent a ton of money with Starbucks. Okay. I know I've put people through college with Starbucks. I know for a fact. I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay. If it was just me drinking coffee in my house and I only drank 1 coffee a day, I know exactly how much my cup of coffee costs. It's $7.49. I drink one of these a day, Darla. Yes, I have a problem. And I have had the same drink that I've been drinking for 3 straight years. At one point, I used to drink a hot version that had it was a raspberry mocha, and I drank that for 8 years straight. I am a creature of habit. Once I find something I like, and then it's like, once I'm done, because it's ad nauseum, then I move to something else, but then I stick to that. Okay. I've had my vanilla sweet cream cold brew with my 5 pumps of vanilla syrup, extra sweet cream stirred in the drink, and the cold foam on top. That order. No joke. That's my OCD. Right? $7.49. And that price keeps going up. It doesn't go down. Every day. 30 days in the month. Let's do the math on how much I spend. And that's with tax, right? Let's say in a given month, $7.49 times the 30. I spend $224.70 just on my coffee alone. That's not counting every time I get a Trenta Cannonball for my husband, or the occasional tall matcha lavender for my daughter, because that's what's in season now, or the occasional venti iced chai for my son. Or, hey, guess what? When we all go out, that I buy all of that for breakfast for everyone, and I spend at least $50 in one meal. Do you think it costs them $6.59 to build my drink? No. They're probably at best spending 75 cents for my drink. Everything else, everything else is profit. It's the cost of a brick and mortar store. It's the cost of their employees. It's the cost of the benefits. It's the cost of the liability insurance. It's the cost of the remakes that they might have to do because if my coffee is too dark and I taste more coffee than cream, oh, you best believe I send that back. So they have to remake it because if I'm spending $7.49 and it ain't to my specifics, I'm sending it back. But guess what? They factored in those costs. They factored in those costs, right? We have to do the same. And we have to be comfortable with that. Because our target market, if we're building it for our target market and we're putting it in front of our target market will pay it. I spoke about this when I went to a craft fair, or not a craft fair, it was a con. I did one last year, and I did the keycaps because conventions, they absolutely love their fandoms, right? So I specifically I used the little mini pops. Those things are not cheap. They're like $5. Oh, did I freeze? I'm not frozen. Can you see me or am I still frozen? Mm. Okay, good. So I made the fidget keycaps that I've shown you guys on my lives or on my videos with the little mini Funko Pops. They're like the tiny versions of I'm trying to see if I have one here somewhere. Okay, so here's I'll grab one, right? I have my little Funkos everywhere. So imagine a mini tiny version that's like literally this high and this wide of something like this. And it actually has a little piece that pops off. I'm trying to see if I have one relatively close to me. No, I don't. But it has the little lid, it pops off. And then all you see is the little character. But what I did was I put that on a keycap and on one of my little fidget light up keycaps. You would think I was selling gold bars. I'm not even joking. That was the money maker. Not only because I knew my target market, I knew that they were comic book lovers, anime lovers. So my pops were focused on comic book characters because it was a convention, a comic convention. So they were there to buy comics, get autographs from comic creators, um, you know, take pictures and do, photographs and things like that. So I made sure my characters were focused to the characters that, with comics that they were going to want to buy. And I talked about this yesterday during the live. I had one guy who was like the epitome of a fan of the Batman Joker, right? The Joker from Batman. I had two versions of that Joker. I had the series that I had bought had the different versions from like the Cesar Romero version of Joker to the modern version of the Joker. They were the only two that I had left. That man spent $40. Oh no, actually 45 because I sold a little display case with it. And he was like, I want them in a display case. I want them there on my computer so that when I'm not using one on my keyboard, I have the other one showing there. And it was such a gold rush for me. Like it was amazing to see the reaction. But what did I do? I made it an experience. I didn't just bring the keycaps. I brought my keyboard to show them, right? Visual all the way, guys. Visual. So I brought my keyboard and I'm like, this is how it works. You can pop off the character, pop it onto the moment I would do that, like mind blown. Mind blown. People were like, oh my God, I can put it on my keyboard. That's so cool. I had people wanting to buy my keyboard. I'm like, my keyboard's not for sale. I'll tell you where I got it, but it's not for sale. But they saw it had another purpose, right? Darla, if you market to the medical industry and be like, oh, look at this. You don't have to touch those crusty, dusty keyboards or, those crusty, dusty screens, right? You can use this to look up patient charts and blah, 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 blah. And then when you actually have to, sign something, you got your own. You don't got to touch those germy pens that are sitting there on some random desk. You got your own. And it comes with 2 refills. And if you want an additional pack of refills, I offer those on my site. Do you want to sign up for my monthly subscription of pens where this collection comes out every month and I mail it to you? Now you have a subscription product. Yes, that's another one I'm going to be talking about, by the way. So you heard it here first. You guys can actually have a subscription for your items. When you have a collection and it's a target market and you set the expectation, you're starting from a blank slate because nobody else has done that. There is no saturation. There is no expectation because somebody else already laid the groundwork for you. You are building this for yourself, right? Here's a perfect example of this. Water bottles have existed forever and a day, right? Putting flavor into water bottles has existed forever and a day. I used to have my water bottle. I'd grab my Crystal Light packet, pop it in there, and then I'd have flavored water because I hated plain water, right? But I still drink plain water to this day. Here comes a company called Circle that said, I'll make this easier on you. We're going to sell you the bottle, right? The base and the lid. But we're going to let you pop off that flavor and switch it out when you run out. We can send it to you on a monthly subscription so you never run out, right? It's a saturated market by all intents purposes, right? By every definition of saturated market. The water bottle market is saturated. And yet they still figured out that people would pay for convenience over having to manually get a packet of flavor, pop it into their bottle, switch it out. And why do I use that example? Because guess who subscribed to Circle? This one right here. I'd spend almost $100 a month getting refills. They had a rewards program, so I would get a fresh bottle every 3 to 4 months. We introduced it to additional family members, so now my pricing went up. That's their subscription model, right? And every month, if I wanted to keep the flavors the same, I didn't have to worry about going back and changing anything. You have a collection that you're releasing, get a fresh pen for the month. And every month could be a different design idea. Have your expectation of what the collection is going to be, right? Companies like Scentbird, they thrive not only from, they thrive from partnerships with, big brands of perfumes, but it's no different. It's a subscription model. That's reoccurring revenue. That's ongoing revenue that you don't even have to think about. You just have to make sure your product gets to your customer. And you can pre-plan because when it's on a subscription, forget it. It takes off all on its own. That's when you scale. But going back to the target marketing packaging, right? So we have the teacher's marketing, we have the bundle, we have the pen, the keychain, the reward charm, right? You have it based on market, you have it based on themes for the year. Well, now we're going to stack additional value in your packaging without having to lower the price. Okay? What do I mean by that? I sell, yeah, there you go, Darla. So you know everything I'm talking about. You know everything I'm talking about. There's no BS in it. I'm not trying to sell you guys, a rainbow, right? I'm not having you chase a rainbow. These business models exist for a reason and they are successful for a reason. There's absolutely no excuse that we have that we can't apply our business to these models. Oh no. It's I know why you're feeling that way because it's like, holy crap, it's literally been in front of my face the entire time. Why did I overthink it, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It's the fact that we overthink it because it's a new business line. And I felt the exact same way. I'm like, why the hell did I overthink this? It is not hard. It is not hard. Yeah, it's yes. Because you're a paid member, so you have access to this. As soon as we're done here, it will replay, right? I know I'm not wrong because that's the discovery I had to make. I'm like, why the hell am I making this so complicated? Why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? The wheel's already reinvented. This is a unique offering. It's who I'm offering to. That is the status quo. It's like it's like, like why are we complicating it, right? So when we stack value, you're not the only one. All right. So when we're stacking value, what I mean by that is you can still make the experience for your bundles, for your packaging, something unique that they can't find anywhere else, right? Add a little extra charm. So you ready to get your mind blown again? Because I hope you are. Okay. Here we go. So remember we're talking about the monthly subscriptions? I hope you're ready for this. You ready? Monthly subscriptions for charms. You can sell the pen and then have them register and sign up for charms. How simple that is. I know. And you know how easy it is? It's a lobster claw, a jump ring, and a pendant. That's it. That's all I had to do. I can sit there and sell a collection. Hey guys, there's the bail bead, right? It's nice and stuffed in there. And on that bail bead, I can attach my little logo charm that has my business on it. So that one would permanently be on there. I know you do. I'm sure you do because I did too. When I tell you, that's why I love that I have these base supplies because I can sit and build my own collections. That's why I advocate for doing this versus buying a ton of stuff wholesale. Now, if you have a ton of stuff already, use what you have, leverage what you have, right? If anything, you're buying a lobster clasp, some bail beads that are super inexpensive on Amazon, and sell a collection. Sell a pen that comes with 4 or 5 charms. And you can provide a freak ton of value without increasing the price of having to have a base pen and all the beads, blah, blah, blah. These charms are super inexpensive for the most part, right? Especially if we do like flat bead charms. That's what your flat charms could be too. They could be the charms that hang off the pens. That's what I'm saying. And it's a game changer. And it's a game changer because nobody else is thinking this way. And the moment we find a market that we want to actively be in, that we would speak about it like it's the next best thing since sliced bread, right? That's why I created that post about making sure that the target market that you're going after is something that you are passionate about. I don't want you sitting there trying to sell pens to a market you know nothing about that you really don't want to do anything with. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Guess what brand does this? See if you know what brand does this kind of charm. and it's been right in our face the entire time. Who does these kind of things? I'm putting you on the spot here because you're the only one here. Let's see if you know who I'm thinking about. No guess. Okay, that's okay. Wait till I tell you. You ready? Pandora. Pandora proved it. They freaking proved it. I know. I know. And here we are breaking our heads trying to sell a pen thinking it's not worth what we know it can be worth. Think about it. What do they sell us? They don't sell us the bracelet every time we want to buy a bracelet. They sell us the charms. They sell us the charms. You can sell the base pen, have a bail bead, and you sell them the charms. It's insane. It's insane. All right. Now we go into the next part that I really love, which is it's called price anchoring in the industry, but how to influence your buyer's decision, right? And how to target different sectors of people who are buying, like where they're at in the buying stage within that target market, right? So I use this example just now with you. You can buy one pen and it comes with one charm. It's $20. You can buy a pen and it comes with these 3 charms. You could even mystery pack them if you really want your mind blown. Just like a Labubu, right? Mystery pack charm comes with a standard charm, the same one that the person who buys the one gets, a standard charm, 2 extra rares in mystery packs. We don't know what you're going to get, but you're not going to get repeats, right? Because you're packaging it. So you know you're not going to pop repeats in there. Or you can get the ultimate bundle. It comes with 2 base pens, 2 base charms, and a 5-pack of mystery add-on charms. That bundle's going to go for like $60, $70. And guess what? They will pay for it because people have FOMO, the fear of missing out. You make it a collectible, you make it a product they want, they will pay for it. Labubus are a perfect example. Beanie Babies back in the 80s and 90s are a perfect example. We have a FOMO mentality to this day. Guess what? All of us, even you, have that mentality. Otherwise, you wouldn't have an inventory stash of beads because you feared missing out on that opportunity, on that deal, on that sale. That's what I'm telling you. It's harder when we're there building and crafting like, oh my God, I only paid like $1 for this. Nobody's going to pay me $10 for this. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. You price it right, or I'm sorry, you position it right, and you have your price attached to it, they won't question it. You're confident enough when you sell it because you know you made that product. You know it's not going to fall apart. You know with the proper care because you're giving them the instructions. They're going to take care of it. And if they take care of it, it'll last them. And if something happens on the way, you're there to provide that customer support because that's part of that handmade aspect. We are there to address that. They're not buying from a big box store. All right. So, last but not least, making these product bundles and this information easy for people to digest. Like we talked about this yesterday with the craft shows. Don't take 50 to 60 different versions of your pens. If I was doing a craft show for bead crafters, let's say I went to a craft show and I wanted to sell my products, I would not bring all of this stuff. I'd quite literally have 3 kits you can choose from. Your starter kit, which has the little teeny versions of my glue, the the little mixed beads, and I would price it accordingly. I'd have a middle bundle, and then I'd have the big bundle. I'm ready to walk out the door, because before I walk out of here, I know my target market, because I've had a conversation with Sasha. I know who I'm selling to, or I already have a target market. I just wanted to create my own custom design, right? I'd have 3 bundles. I'm not sitting there with like 15 different sugars. No, my little teeny bundle is going to give you that the AB white. You're starting with the easy peasy lemon squeezy version. That second bundle, it's going to have 5 colors. My mega bundle, that big bundle, is going to have all 15. And I'm only going to have limited quantities. I'm not sitting there with like all this stuff in the back and building bundles at the same time. No, ma'am. I'll have 5 of my mega. I might even do 3, because I would do 3 of my mega bundles, because I'm pricing those at like $150, $200. I'll have maybe 7 of my middle, and I will have like 10 to 15 of that smaller one. When you're at craft shows, you're going to get a lot more people who are buying on the lower end, because they might not know yet, right? But if you target it right, you will sell out before the end of that show. You have 3. I kept telling people yesterday, have 6 designs, but it's 3 categories, 2 designs per category, right? You have 2 options in the lower tier, so your $10 to $15 pens, your 15 to 20, and your 20 to 25, right? Something like this would be my 20 to 25. But I'd have a specific theme for that target market. So one of the target markets I was talked about was, it's going to be at a military base. Oh, cool. There's military pride. You have lots of family, and be specific. Don't just be like, every single division of military that we have. Where are you going to be doing this at a base? Yes, I was doing it at a base. Okay, cool. What is it? Army? Okay, cool. Army. It's specifically Army military pride. You're going to have moms. You're going to have parents that are, their kid is new to this, right? They're happy military pride parents. And then you're going to have the military members. It's not hard. Those are your 3 categories. Build 2 designs per category. You got it. That's all you do. You're not going to sit there with 50 freaking different pens and hope that somebody wants adorable, or that. They're not going to want that. They're there because there's something that they have in common. And craft shows are no different than targeting a market online. Craft shows have themes. Craft shows take place in a neighborhood. They take place in a city. Is that a farmer's market type craft show? Is it a flea market where people are expecting lower prices and bargains? Is that where you want to get rid of your lower tier pens? Probably, because then you're okay selling it at $10 a pop. You're still selling it at a great profit, but they're not going to be the market that buys your $20 to $25 pen. I'm not saying don't bring them. Bring them in limited quantities. Maybe have 5 max. But if you're going to a Art Deco industry, or like one of those, down in South Florida, like there's art districts. They're known to, spend that kind of money, because those craft shows do cost a lot of money to get into. So people know that they got to have money to go to those shows. You're not going to have people bargain hunting. So when you're creating your products, create them at an easy product tier. Have 3 to make the choice easy. And when you do, make it something that people can easily make a decision on. Don't sit there and offer 50 styles for each of the tiers. Don't sit there and release 10 collections for your sets. 1 collection, 3 tiers. If you're at a craft show and you want to give it a little bit of extra, you still have your 3 categories, but you're going to probably do 2 styles per category. The lower price and the higher price. The lower price and the higher price, depending on the categories of people that are going, and the themes and the target market for that craft. For that craft show. Okay, we covered a lot. All right. So I have a challenge for you, Darla, since you're the only one that came on here, but I have a challenge for anybody else that watches the recording. I want you to take one product that you have, especially if you're already thinking of who you're targeting and who you're going to target. Take one product. I want you to turn it into a bundle, and I want you to price out what those bundles are, and then get back to me and let me know. We're going to break it down. We're going to make sure that, okay, this is for that target market. Why did you choose that one? What made you choose it? What's your bundle look like? Like, how would you bundle it if you have other items? And how would you price it? Okay, that's the homework. And then we're going to comment on the post, because this is going to get posted into into Substack. So that's my time for today. Now, did you have any questions, Darla? Any specific questions that I can answer for you before I leave? I know your mind is like going a million miles a minute at this point. I know you hate it, but think about it. This is just an exercise between us, right? We're not advertising it yet to a customer. I want you comfortable with it and being able to talk through it before it goes out to the public. That way you are comfortable when it does go out. I know, but guess what? People gladly accept your money and take your money when you're buying stuff, right? Why is it any different? Don't undervalue what you bring to the table. Never undervalue what you bring to the table. Your designs, your product are just as valuable as anybody else's, as the big brand stores, right? I know. I know you are. And once you launch that first one, the hardest hurdle is that first one. But I'll be here holding your hand. We'll price it right. We'll make sure the marketing and the messaging is right. So when you do launch it, you're launching it confidently. You're not just going, oh, I hope that they want to buy it. So that's your homework. And if you want some extra credit, I want you to name the bundle. Tell me what the name of that collection set is. No, go ahead. Go ahead. We'll start with the first one. What's the first? What's the first question? I know typing takes a little bit with these things. Oh yeah, we can. Okay, no worries. Yeah. You can message me through the chat. Like, we have that paid subscriber chat that you want to use. You can send me a direct message on TikTok. You can message me directly here through Substack, or however you want to do it. Okay, no worries. No worries. And it's easy. I know for me, I would prefer when I have like questions I want to do back and forth, I prefer to do talk to text anyway. Wherever you're comfortable with. If you prefer TikTok, I can do TikTok through the chat. That way, if there's like a particular video or something I need to reference, I can send that information to you. And I can also like upload screenshots easier too. No worries. No worries. Whatever's easier for you. If the computer's not working right now, no worries. Just do it on your phone. And send it however you would like. Any of the platforms that we use, I can easily message back and forth. So whichever one you'd like, it doesn't matter to me. They're all the same. Oh, I appreciate you too. I love the support, but I also love that I'm able to share this with you guys. And I think that's the biggest part. It's like when I came to that realization, I'm like, I cannot possibly be the only one that has the realization that I'm overthinking this. This is not that hard. I have to literally get out of my own way and stop thinking that because this is new to me, that this is new to everything. It's not. On the contrary, it's innovative. It's people love it. They want it. So, you need to know where to go to promote and sell your things. The freest places are your social media sites, funny enough. And then you just have to have one platform to sell it. I sell all my stuff on Shopify. It is, but the problem is we are so used to going, "Hey guys, check out my Cinderella pen. Who wants it?" Instead of going, Disney lovers, if you couldn't wait for the classic Cinderella, do you know what I mean? Like specifically Target. This is the pen that you don't want to live without. You want to go to Disney and have all that bling do you know what I mean? Like look how specific I'm being. Guess what? The algorithm hears that text. Even if you don't talk, even if you don't do a face video, you can use the text features. The algorithm goes based off of that's why even my videos I changed them. I started using like closed captioning. The algorithm is all automatic. It's AI. It is taught and trained to listen for what is being said if there's no captions, to read the text that's coming on screen, to identify visual images. Why do you think whenever you watch just one video and you're on there for like 10 seconds, all of a sudden you have additional videos that have the same style and format? You add one product to your cart, but you don't buy it. Every other creator that sells that same product and is, launching it through their affiliate program, all of a sudden starts showing up through your feed. It's all because it's targeted. What they're saying, what they're showing, what they're selling, what they're specifically talking about is aimed at targeted to the interest of the person watching the video. But if I just hold this pen up and go, get your bead pen today. It sparkles. It's shiny. Cute characters. We have it in pink, blue, purple, and gray. None of that. None of that describes a target market, describes a want, a need, an interest. Yeah. Tell me how many lives haven't you seen where people are like, here, guys, I have these pens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me which one you want. And they're sitting there going, mm-hmm. They're $7 each one. Exactly. Now you get my point. And they're there for hours. I'm sorry, but I value my time. I have a shop and I have paid subscribers on Substack because this is the repayment people do for me giving all this information away. Otherwise, I wouldn't care. Everybody can struggle. Like we all struggle, right? I don't care about giving all this free information because you all are supporting me, whether it's being a follower, whether it's commenting, whether it's supporting my shop, whether it's supporting Substack, whether you're a free subscriber or not. It just gives me the ability to do what I'm passionate about and train and teach people what I learn. It does me no good keeping that information inside. But it also frustrates the crap out of me when I see people going, there you go. And it's not just pens. I see them doing it with cups. And they're building the cups live. Oh yeah, so and so I have 150,000 different DTF stickers. What? You should be selling sets. But exactly. And so you think about all of these things. I did multi-level marketing too. I did that too. And every single strategy works. Why? Because they were themed. They were specific. There was a collection. There's a product line that you're expecting. And here we are thinking we have to reinvent the wheel when we don't. That's the part that got me. Why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? This is a product just like any other. But if I put it right in front of the right person, if you put it right, and I do too, but if you put your product in front of the right person, for them, it's not the norm. For them, you just address their pain point. You just address the issue that they were having. For that doctor, that nurse that doesn't want to touch every screen and every tablet and use their finger, that doesn't want to have to pull a random gross pen from the desk. You're addressing the pain point. It's why we fall for these TikTok videos where they're like, girls, oh my God. And I wear falsies, right? These are the easiest. 2 minutes to do both your eyes. I'm like, what? Excuse me? 2 minutes? Right? 2 minutes? I'll sit there and gotta struggle? I fall for all that. We all do. It's no different for the customer that wants to buy our designs. And they're willing to pay for it. You want to feel better about your pricing? Sell your pens for 20 to 25 and tell them that you're giving them a discount because they were originally priced at 35 to 40. If you want to feel good about your pricing, right? Get your $25 pen. It was originally priced at $40 because of all these fancy rhinestones and bling, right? No different. No different. None of the stuff we buy on TikTok costs $100 when they're selling it to us for $60. It's because that's where they're making a ton of money. They know it didn't cost them, $60 to make it $100. They're not selling it at cost. That thing cost them $20. 20. It's all profit. It's insane. I know. That's what I'm saying. When you're putting it together, you need to know the base cost of your items. And if you have beads that you've paid for $3 a pop, those should be on your higher end product line. Those should be on your rare or exclusive collection sets, not your $7, $10 pens. Or not 7. I would never recommend anything 7. But like your $10 bare minimum pens. And those, I actually sell them as like, I say kid friendly very loosely, right? No one under 10. I don't advocate for anything that has like loose things that if it's a child that may or may not understand the dangers of putting things in their mouth. So, I have a friend of mine who she does bags. Like she creates bags, and she saw my lives. She's like, oh my God. So she actually bought some supplies because she wanted to experiment with some pens. And I told her, you make a lot of really nice bags. And I know you normally target women, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're a mom. You're a mom. And you should be doing Mommy and Me. You should be so doing Mommy and Me bags. And she's like, I never thought about that. I'm like, girl, it's like couture for Mommy and Me. Have a matching version that's maybe all silicone. You tighten, everything is secure for the daughter. And then you have the bling version for the mom. So if your cost is $10, you're going to 3 to 5x that. Obviously, your pens are not going to go for 50, right? You're not going to, sit there and sell $50 pens because not a lot of people will. Oh yeah, Exactly. But you can look at the 3.5, right? So if you have pens that are $30, look at creating sets. I would look at creating sets where you could do 30 to 40 or 30 to 50 price range and still make a ton of profit. That's why yours would probably be best as collections, because as a collection, you can price it that way. You're the only one with that style. You're the only one with that design. Oh, okay. Um, Honestly, I think $10 is too cheap for any of this stuff. It is too cheap. Yeah, no, if you're selling things for $10 and it's all designer and some of these beads cost you $3, you're losing a ton of money. You're not making anything. You're basically working for free. So, yeah, we got to definitely work on the pricing. If you have stuff that's higher price, and by the time you do all the math and you're like, man, at a base, all this stuff is like, $5 to $10. That's where you look at pairing it up with something else that maybe adds on another dollar or two to the cost. And so it's $12, but now you're selling it as a, 24 or $25 to $35 set, right? That's where you bundle, where that second item doesn't cost as much, even if your first one did. But because now you're bundling it and making a set, it becomes something that's giftable. People are willing to pay for it because it is a bundled set. Exactly. Exactly. You didn't, we got into it because we loved what we saw. But at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a business for us. Even if it's a side hustle, it's a business. And if we're giving it away, it's a hobby at that point. It is a hobby. So that's my time for today. But feel free to text me, next message me, and let me know what the other questions were that you had. Higher prices were intended for the first show. Yeah. And you can still do that. I'm telling you, I feel like if you have certain things, like if you already have a bunch of other items, bundles are going to be huge for you. Huge, huge, huge. We're getting into the end of the school year. Teacher sets, gift sets. We're getting into I'm trying to think of, wedding season, right? You've got a ton of people that love getting married over the summer. Girls that do their sweet 16s, and for Hispanic girls, we do quinceañeras. There's tons of that. People doing their baby showers. There's a lot to do with that. I honestly do feel like you could do a lot with gift sets. And if you have experience with Mommy and Me, doing Mommy and Me gift sets. So there's so much you can do, Darla. I know your mind is like racing a million miles a minute right now. But that's why the exercise of organizing everything comes in so handy, because you can look at everything that you have and go, okay, I can make a bundle of everything. What would be the first collection that I start with? What supply do I have the most of that I can sell? Even if I price it at a decent price so that it sells, not at cost. We're not doing cost anymore. You still want your profit built in, but you want to price it so that if you have a ton of that collection, you're pricing it to say, okay, I have, 50 of these, so I can sell 50 times, $30 a set. What's my $1,500 that I just generated from these 50 sets, right? You just gained back your cost. You added a cushion for profit, and now you can save some of that extra money to go into buying future sets and collections as you grow your business. Way too much. I'm still organizing and getting upset at repeats on stuff. Oh, girl, been there, done that. Been there, done that. I did that too, because we tend to forget, right? We were late night scrolling, adding to cart, and then realizing at the last minute after when things start coming in, we're like, why? Why? How did I not? I knew I loved it. I knew I saw it. Why did I do that? So, but that's okay, because those repeats become So remember, if you're doing a collection, you're going to have things that are rare, things that you have quite a bit of, but the things that you have a mass of. That's your common collection. Good. And that's what I want. Yes. That's awesome, Darla. I thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. And please send me a message. I'm going to get to having some dinner, but I appreciate you. And this actually feels so much better when there's actually somebody that joins. I appreciate you. You have a great night. And thank you so much for being on. Take care. I appreciate you. Good night.